If you're getting results over and over, results that you don't want, then the question is, how do you stop that? How do you disrupt your personal performance so that you can shift the results that you get? Well, it's really simple to do, but it's not easy. And the reason for that is the only thing that is required is for you to change the way that you think. Let me explain. Your current results are a direct reflection of what's going on inside of you. And until you change what's going on inside of you, the outside results won't change. What does that mean? Well, let's say that you're earning $10,000 a month. All right, just a number. It doesn't matter what number it is. Just say that number, and that you, in the back of your mind, would love to take home $10,000. You don't want 10,000 and then you've got tax and so on. You want to take home 10,000. So that's quite a significant shift, because if you add the taxes back, it'll be about 15 grand. So let's say that that's what you want to do. And you don't know how to do that. And on top of it, what happens is, let's say that that is at the moment what you would consider an impossible goal, because your company or the business you've got is only generating or paying you a certain amount. Well, that's fine if you want to carry on thinking like that, because what that is really is that when you understand that your mind um, is made up of a conscious mind and a subconscious mind, and that science has proven that 95% of the decisions you make, the behavior you move into every day, and the habitual behavior, and your self-image actually um, impacts the quality of the decisions you make. It impacts your performance. It impacts the result that you get. So 95% of your results are actually caused through fixed ideas set in your subconscious mind. Now, some people may argue that, and that's fine. But just go with me on this, because there's enough evidence in science to prove that, our plastic, the plasticity of our mind is, it can relearn. So when the brain gets damaged, you can relearn habits to get back to functioning in life uh, reasonably well. And it's just constant space repetition that allows us to do that. And it's God's way of making good automatic, is when you learn good habits, and that's what you move into every day. So I'm going to share my screen with you just to um, give you an idea, a picture of what I'm talking about. And so let's say you are getting some results in your life that you don't want. How do you disrupt poor performance? Well, let's look at this image, the stick figure in the middle. Let's say that this is you today, and that you've got a conscious mind. This big circle on the top here is your mind. You've got a conscious mind and you've got a subconscious mind. Okay, your conscious mind is your thinking mind, your rational mind. It's where your imagination is, so you can originate new ideas. And your subconscious is your emotional mind. It is also your mind that where your fixed ideas, your paradigm resides. So that's fixed ideas like the habits that you move into every day, the routines, the belief system that you operate with, your self-image, how you see yourself in the world. That's all ideas, fixed ideas set in your subconscious mind. Let's call that your paradigm. So let's say every day there is energy flowing into your conscious mind. All right. And that energy can be all this information that's coming into us through what we see, what we hear, taste, smell, touch, that information's coming in. But equally, just as importantly, we can originate new ideas in our mind. We have got a memory, so we can remember things that happened to us in the past. And let's say that's the quadrant one is past good. Okay, good things that happened. And we say quadrant two is past bad, bad things that have happened to us. So things that we can avoid in the future. So if you harvest the good out of a bad experience, then you can avoid doing that again. So for instance, I went through losing all my money in a failed business in Sydney in 2005. Now, hopefully, I've learned that lesson how not to do that again. Equally, from that time to now, I had to catch up again and regenerate or remake the money I'd lost plus more so that my wife and I can be financially independent. And so I learned that lesson, and anyone can do that. So just so that it gives this context, I have no formal education. I'm not. I wouldn't consider myself particularly bright, and I I just I know that I can learn stuff, and so that's all I do is I just say, well, I learned how not to run a business when I failed in Sydney. But before that, I'd been involved with an organization that we had a small business that actually became part of a listed company. So I'd had that experience as well. So it's all about these past experiences, some of them good, some of them bad. So you've got a memory. You've got a reason factor where you can say, well, I accept what this guy who I've never met before is saying, or I don't accept it. So you can discern what information you're going to accept or reject. That's interesting, and I'll come back to that. But equally, we've got this gift of the will, and the will is it gives you the ability to concentrate on a single idea, and when you do, that gives you focus. So let's say that we've got, as I said, this energy coming into us that has no direction every day. So this is what gets us out of bed in the morning to go and do what we want to do, or we sense we need to accomplish in a day or in our lives, and so on. So, and it's also the same energy that makes these beautiful trees outside here grow. This one behind me keeps growing because this is energy that that's sort of encouraging growth, and it's the same for the human being. The the desire that you've got on your heart. Say, let's say that you've got this goal, and at the moment it doesn't seem possible. So it's instead of earning $10,000 that you got to take your tax off and so on, you want to take home $10,000, whatever the number is, and but then how do you do that? That's what happens is the mind kicks in and says, "Oh, so let's work through this." And I just want to go into, let's say you've got this idea and you've originated this idea of, let's say you want to take home 10,000, and you know that's the cash in pocket. All right. And whatever number you want to put there, it doesn't matter. The principle's the same. So this is not where you're at the moment. You're at this where you getting paid 10,000, and then you've got tax and so on. Okay, so then you're left with whatever. All right, and it's not that one up at the top. So what happens is, how do you disrupt poor performance? Well, what one needs to understand is that where we place our attention, this is where we place our attention. What we get emotionally involved with will actually cause us to behave in a certain way and give us our results over and over. So let's say that your attention's here and you're emotionally involved with all the good stuff that you used to do in the past. Then you're not spending any time considering your future. You're not spending any time up here with what is at the moment an impossible goal. Okay. You're spending time over here. Equally, if your attention is down here and you're emotionally involved with some failure you've had in the past, which let's let's just recognize what's happened in the past does not define you. That was a moment in the past. And you actually, it's a lesson you can learn from and you can move and you can build your life from there. Or you could be down here. This is where most people spend most of the time because we're actually educated to spend time here. This is in your rational mind. This is in what I call the drama of life. Okay. This is this is the problem after problem after problem that we think we have to intellectually figure out. Then we've got this beautiful idea called the imagination. All right. This is considering, I'm going to change the color here, what's possible. All right. When we start to spend time just thinking about and creating a vision for what it is that you want in the future. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. It's what's on your heart. That's the only important thing. And that whole process, you you build that vision without letting the rational mind button and say, well, how are you going to do it? That's a separate subject. The how is about goal achievement. When you want to set a goal, and even if it's an impossible, what seemed to be an impossible goal, the important thing is that you stay building the vision in your mind. Because if you don't have a vision, you won't go there. But if you create the vision of whatever it is that you feel strongly about, and this impossible goal, let's think about this idea. The impossible goal that's set on your heart, this is the one that has been suppressed by your rational mind because your rational mind has never been there before. So it's saying logic and reason saying you don't know how to get there. We have no evidence or proof that you can get there. Therefore, forget it. It is that's for creative people. Well, every one of us is creative because when we came to this planet, we didn't know how to walk. We didn't know how to tie a shoelace. We didn't know this. We didn't know that. You didn't know how to do what you're doing right now, but you learned it. And we can learn how to get to this point when you let your imagination become dominant. So it's not a coincidence that Q3 is below Q4 because Q2 and Q3 are actually when you're living in kind of a slump. You don't have any energy, you don't have any magnetism to your personality. You feel drained because it's a low vibration. When you are in your creative mindset, then you are above the line here, okay? You're above the line, and actually everything becomes a lot more energetic. You start to magnetize your personality, saying, okay, what is possible? What is possible for me? Well, whatever's on your heart is actually possible when you understand how the creative process works. And the creative process works when you imagine what it is that you want. You're actually honest with yourself. You suppress the rational mind and say, hang on, we will engage you when we need to work out as an obstacle. But until then, we've got to set a North Star somewhere in the future that is greater than where you are right now. And we need to start moving in that direction. We need to start making decisions in that direction. And here's the true secret. The only thing that I've really ever learned is that when I was 7 years old, my mother taught me how to pray to what I consider my infinite source of supply, and I call that God. People call it universe, um, spirit, whatever people want to call the infinite. When you partner with the infinite and you learn to stay up here where you're asking, this is what I want, then you let your mind relax and you wait for the guidance through intuition. Then you start things, the infinite intelligence wants to do the heavy lifting for you. The problem with our schooling systems and degrees and all this cleverness, we stay down here in our rational human mind or brain and say, well, this is the limits of what I can do for our life. And a lot of people live their life like that, thinking that they were born with this kind of limit of understanding of life. It's actually limitless when you move up there. When you start to live in the creative part, through the creative part of your mind, and you start to connect with your infinite source of supply. And it's such a wonderful thing because you can learn to let go of being responsible for the outcomes. What your job is to actually uncover what it is on your heart, what you actually desire in life, and then go after it. And stay focused on that using the will. And all of this is learned. So we've got five physical senses that are feeding data into our mind, but we've actually got six intellectual factors that come free to us, that sit in our conscious mind, that we can use to create the lifestyle that we want, to create, to go after that impossible goal in your business, in your corporate career, and if you're an entrepreneur, might disrupt a whole industry. And when you learn how to shift your trust to the infinite, then you partner, and it's then so much more is possible. We didn't go to the moon because man is that intelligent. We learn to become aware of what is possible when we really partner with God. And I mean, you can read up about Dr. Warner von Braun, who was he was the gent that Kennedy asked, "What will it take to get a man to the moon and bring him back safely?" And Warner von Braun said, "The will to do it. Man's will to do it. His ability to focus his mind." And if you get to know the writings of that scientist, he understood that there was more to our existence than just human intelligence. And when you partner with the infinite, then life becomes a lot more enjoyable because you can let go of outcome-based mentality and learn to really enjoy the moment and do the best you can in the moment. And that's all expected is to find joy in the moment. And if you're not finding joy in what you're doing, then almost certainly you're down here in the weeds, in the worry, in the doubt, and the fear, in your rational mind, trying to fix the problem rather than saying, righto, this is this is where we want to go. There's going to be obstacles along the way to where we want to go. It's never a straight line, that is for sure. But if you trust that the way will be shown, one, and that the resources will show up as you're moving forward. But it takes the will to keep you focused on this North Star, whatever that is for you. I hope that helps.